Good afternoon, everyone. I am Roshane Dilagman, and my group mates are Norlin Tadeo, Rodelio Yambao, and Jabril Borja. And we are the Group 3 presenting Ethics in Research and Development. Our objective is to understand the ethics in research and development. This presentation aims to understand what is the contribution of ethics to further develop research not only as a person but also in justice and in our economy. First, let's define what is ethics in research, and what is ethics in development. Ethics are a personal code of conduct based on respect for oneself, others, and surroundings, and is governed by the principles or assumptions underpinning the way individuals or organizations ought to conduct themselves. It affects how people make decisions and lead their lives. Ethics is concerned with what is good for individuals and society. Being ethical can help us to become a better human being. As people, if we know how to respect being honest, doing what is right, responsible, and etc., that means we have ethics in life. Research ethics involve the application of fundamental ethical principles to research activities, which include the design and implementation of research, respect towards society and others, the use of resources and research output, scientific misconduct, and the regulations of research. It guides researchers to conduct and report research without intention to harm the participant of the study or members of the society as a whole, whether knowingly or unknowingly. For example, guidelines for authorship, copyright, data sharing policies, and confidentiality rules in peer review are designed to protect intellectual property. Kasi 'di ba when a researcher is conducting information for his or her research, they must include safety in all the participants involved para maiwasan na magkaproblema tulad ng plagiarism. Ethics in development, defined as how human rights, basic needs, and social justice are met with the process and final outcome of a development. An example of development ethics is how society's needs will be met in a new building project. Example sa Pilipinas, tumataas ang infrastructure rate because of the build project of the government. Sa ethics in development, sinasagot nito kung paano naaabot ang pagkakaroon ng trabaho kung hindi ba napeperwisyo ang mga tao na involved sa project na ito. Here are the 18 ethical principles that we need and should really include if we want our research to further develop to avoid various ethical issues. Honesty. Honesty is the bed. If I ask you, do you think there's a researcher who put false information or data? Wala naman, di ba? Because a research cannot be developed if the information provided in the research is not true. In all forms of research, honesty is one of the ethics that research must have. Honesty is the bedrock of trust and trustworthiness. The moral command to be honest requires us to speak and act only in ways that engage and justify trust. Integrity. In all forms of research, integrity is vital because it creates trust, and is at the heart of the research process. Researchers must be able to trust each other's work, and they must also be trusted by society since they providing scientific expertise that may impact people's lives. A person with integrity behaves ethically and does the right thing, even behind closed doors. Because all confidential information must be kept private only and not exposed to the public. Objectivity. Objectivity is important in all aspects of the research because studies seek to get as close to the truth as possible, not just prove a hypothesis. In all those who conduct research, their main objective is to make its study successful, and if they want to achieve it, their objectivity must be true, full of legitimate resources, and ensure that not only hypothesis is provided by their research, to also avoid lack of information and biases that may affect everyone involved in the research being conducted.
Carefulness is also another important ethical standard researchers should follow. Researchers should be very careful when conducting a research and try their best to avoid any careless mistake. Iwasan ang mga walang ingat na pagkakamali at kapabayaan. Maingat at kritikal na suriin ang iyong sariling gawa at ang gawain ng iyong mga kasama. Openness. Openness is one of the most important principles of scientific research. It is necessary for achieving the goals of science and for enabling society to benefit from the results of research. It plays a key role in confirmation and collaboration, and it promotes innovation and discovery. Refers to the principle of freedom of access by all interested persons to the underlying data, to the processes, and to the final results of research. An example of openness is someone who's always trying something new. Every time you go out to eat, they get a different dish just to find out. They're always meeting new people and display very liberal ideas about society. Transparency. Transparency ensures that studies can be reproduced by other researchers in the field, and it helps facilitate proper interpretation and dissemination of results by other stakeholders. The principle of transparency requires that any information addressed to the public or to the data subject be consistent, easily accessible, and easy to understand, and that clear and plain language. Additionally, where appropriate, visualization be used. Intellectual property is critical to fostering innovation. Without protection of ideas, businesses and individuals would not reap the full benefits of their inventions and would focus less on research and development. Di pwedeng gamitin ang unpublished data, methods at resulta na walang permiso. Magbigay ng wastong pagkilala o kredito para sa lahat ng contribution sa pananaliksik at never plagiarize. Here are the 4 types of intellectual data: patents, trademarks, copyrights, and trade secrets are valuable assets of the company, and understanding how they work and how they are created is critical to knowing how to protect them. Confidentiality. Confidentiality is another important and ethical standard researchers should follow. Researchers need to make sure they have the approval of the subject when doing their research. They need to know when to share information and when to not disclose them. For example, having a subject that is also a patient. Disclosing the subject medical condition is considered unethical unless the patient approves the disclosure. Kailangan protektahan ng confidential na komunikasyon kagaya ng mga papel o mga gawad na isinumite para sa publikasyon, mga record ng tauhan, mga lihim ng kalakalan o militar, at mga record ng pasyente. Principal publication. The research being reported should have been conducted in an ethical and responsible manner and should comply with all relevant legislation. Researchers should present their results clearly, honestly, and without falsification, or inappropriate data manipulation. Last is responsible mentoring. Mentors provide guidance, advice, feedback, and support to the mentee, serving variously as role model, teacher, counselor, advice sponsor, advocate, and ally, depending on the specific goals and objective negotiated with the mentee. The ultimate goal of the mentor is to establish the trainee as an independent researcher. Mentoring responsibilities include sharing knowledge and skills, overseeing the trainee's work, helping the trainee to make contact with other researchers, and assisting with career counseling.
Respect your colleagues and treat them fairly. The benefit of this is work stress, conflict, and problem will be reduced. Increased respect in the workplace will help to improve communication between colleagues, increase teamwork, and reduce stress as peace in the workplace increases. Social responsibility is an ethical theory in which individuals are accountable for fulfilling their civil duty, and the action of an individual must be benefit the whole of society. In this way, there must be balance between economic growth and the welfare of society and the environmental. Ang layunin ng corporate social responsibility ay ibalik sa komunidad, makibahagi sa mga philanthropic na layunin at magbigay ng positibong halaga sa lipunan. Ang mga negosyo ay lalong lumilipat sa CSR upang gumawa ng pagbabago at bumuo ng isang positibong tatak sa paligid ng kanilang kumpanya. Non-discrimination does not and shall not discriminate on the basis of race, color, religion, gender expression, age, national origin, disability, martial status, sexual orientation, or military status in any of its activities or operation. Dito po matututunan ang pagkakaroon ng malaking respeto, dahil masusukat po ang ugali ng tao kung siya talaga ay may respeto sa kapwa. Competence is a key distinguisher between simplify having skills and having a true sense of professionalism. It is a stage beyond technical competence where ethical competence must be considered when extending policies to support skill and competencies to training and education for professional occupations. An example of competence is when people are tested to determine if they have sufficient skills to perform a particular job. Ang legality ay nangangahulugan na ang isang gawa ay naaayon sa batas. Ang etika ay tungkol sa mga konsepto ng tama at maling pag-uugnay. Maaaring legal ang ilang aksyon, ngunit sa opinyon ng ilang tao ay hindi ethical. Halimbawa, legal ang pagsusuri ng mga gamot sa mga hayop sa maraming bansa, ngunit naniniwala ang ilang tao na hindi ito ethical. Animal care. Sinusuri ng etika ng hayop ang relasyon ng tao at hayop at kung paano dapat tratuhin ng mga tao ang mga hayop. Ang mga tanong sa etika ng hayop ay maaaring mainit na labanan dahil walang pangkalahatan kasunduan tungkol kung paano tayo dapat makipag-ugnayan sa mga hindi tao. Ang human subject protection ay isang kolektibong termino para sa mga patakaran, pamamaraan at ethical na pagsasaalang-alang ng federal, estado at universidad na pinoprotektahan sa mga karapatan at kapakanan ng mga tao na lumalahok sa pananaliksik, bilang mga paksa ng pananaliksik na iyon. With the help of these ethical principles, there is a high probability that every research done by a researcher will be developed more efficiently and correctly by properly using and applying ethics in research. We can keep confidential things that shall not be disclosed to the public, avoid misinterpretation, and the presence of false details when conducting research.
Research and development is when business gathered knowledge to create new product or discover new ways to improve their existing product and services. Also, it is important so that we can achieve the future growth and maintaining a relevant product in the market. The role of research and development is to keep a business competitive by providing insight into the market and developing new service product, improving assisting ones accordingly. Para po siyang mas pinapa-improve yung bagong product or mga lumang product para mag-maintain po ito sa market. The three types of research and development are basic research, or sometimes called fundamental research. This is a type of investigation focused on improving the understanding of particular phenomenon, study, or law of nature. While the applied research is referring to scientific study and research that seeking to solve a practical problem. The experimental research is a study of strict adherence to scientific research design. Research and development process are generate ideas, to do the brainstorming, form ideas, refine ideas, doing the concept of concrete plan to product or service or research. Basic research, applied research, development, innovation, innovative, and scaling up is to distinct phase of growth and company. Advantage of research and development has increased the product of goods and service manufactured, trade, supplied, and entity. Disadvantage of research and development have increased the cost of the company. Its outcome can be positive and negative. Separates manpower to hired by the entity for doing R&D, and this will increase the cost of the company. It is very difficult process and highly experienced, well-qualified human resources are required to do the research and development. Conclusion: ethics are particular significance in research and considered as key component. It is essential for researcher to ensure that his or her aim is to provide original information, truth, and avoid any errors. In addition, being ethical enables authors to adopt collaborative approach for their research with due support from their mentor, guides, and peers. For the research, need to use values as fairness, trust, mutual respect among all those who are involved in the research. Thank you.